What is up, my friends? We are back as promised with a late night news roundup, including more information around Liverpool's interest in Ferran Torres. We're going to ask how realistic it is, who else could be in the mix for the player. We'll also be discussing Jurgen Klopp's future, as it's all been confirmed now that he will be the Germany manager. Guardiola could be going into international management. We'll talk a little bit about that. Are Manchester United fans about to get some painful news around KONE? Well, according to a journalist that covers them, perhaps. And we'll have a couple of interesting bits and pieces, including a Greek player that the Reds are keeping tabs on. That and lots more to come over the next few minutes. But as always, I want to know your thoughts, my friends. So let me know in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, we'd love you to do so. Right, let's get into the situation around Ferran Torres. So there's been lots of reports today coming out of France and other places to suggest that Liverpool show an interest in signing Ferran Torres, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. Another report from The Athletic said that Barcelona are open to selling Ferran Torres this summer because extending his contract would force them to make a payment of around €8 million to Manchester City. Torres' deal at the Camp Nou expires in June 2027 with no renewal yet agreed. The 26-year-old Spain forward was signed on a 5-year deal from Manchester City in 2022 for an initial €55 million plus a further €10 million in add-ons, which could have been achieved. Owing to a clause in that deal, Barca would have to pay the Premier League club a fee in the region of €7 to €8 million should Ferran Torres extend, and that would take the total fee to around €73 million. Now, there's been a bit more on this from the same journalist, Tanzaloik, who said Luis Enrique appreciates Ferran Torres' profile as a versatile striker, and the club have expressed an interest in the Spaniard. This has been known for quite a while now that PSG were interested, but this was, of course, before the World Cup. The deal was thought to be a low-cost one before the World Cup. However, more clubs, particularly Liverpool, they say, have expressed an interest in the meantime, thus increasing his price tag. Now, how does this all play out? Honestly, I don't know. Do Liverpool get him? Does he go to PSG? Haven't got a clue, but it's an interesting one. And it is one that, according to you guys in the chat tonight, you would happily welcome at Liverpool. And I have to say, I can see and understand why. Versatile forward, so that ticks that box. Somebody who can play right across the front three, and also somebody who knows the Premier League. So for me, certainly credible, but let's see if it happens. Now, a couple of international managerial positions up for grabs, and the Italian Football Federation, they've apparently held talks with Pep Guardiola about replacing Gennaro Gattuso as the Italian head coach. He'd be walking into a pretty tough job, obviously, following many disappointments there from Italy in recent years. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But let me know if you think Guardiola takes over the Italian national team. Surely the FA must be thinking, what do we do with Thomas Tuchel here? If Guardiola's available, imagine Guardiola with that English team. I mean, as an Irishman, I'd be concerned. I think England could actually win something major, but maybe you think Thomas Tuchel should be kept on. Also, while we're talking international managers, this report today from Sky Germany said, in the absence of official confirmation, the German national team has appointed Jurgen Klopp as their new head coach with a 4-year contract until 2030. He will compete in the Euro 2028 and the 2030 World Cup in a few days. Small details will be resolved before an official announcement. Jurgen himself is even on record as saying that yes, pretty much everything is agreed there. Very generous from the RB Leipzig side, he said, so I don't think there's any snags that are going to hit this one. Kloppo will be the new German coach. So, I promise you at the start of the video, we talk about a Greek star that Liverpool are looking at. A report today from Team Talk said that Liverpool have reportedly kept tabs on Greece midfielder Konstantinos Karatzis this summer. Borussia Dortmund, they say, would move ahead of Liverpool, or are ahead of Liverpool currently in the chasing pack to secure the 17-year-old. He plays for Genk, and they say he's been chased by the likes of AC Milan, Brighton, Chelsea, Leeds, Everton and Liverpool, of course, this summer. The Greek international believes that Dortmund represents the best environment for him to continue his development. And honestly, I find it hard to argue back against that. We do see Dortmund as that proving ground, if you want to say, for Europe's best young talent, and they certainly have created a nice little niche there for themselves to bring through players and then sell them on for plenty of money down the line. We also said we'd talk about Manu KONE. So this report from Laurie Whitwell said that Manchester United are indeed interested in Manu KONE, but he said, I have a slight feeling from speaking to people that maybe the price point that Roma would want might be a little bit too rich for Manchester United's blood. Now, does this mean that Liverpool are going to come in to try and sign him? Haven't got a clue. But he is a name, of course, that you guys have mentioned to me many times that have impressed you during the World Cup. He's somebody that was linked to Liverpool previously when he moved from Germany across to Roma, but let's wait and see. Mark Douglas of the newspaper has given a bit of bad news around those pursuing Eli Junior Kroupi. He said that Spurs, Arsenal and Manchester City have all been told there's no price that Eli Junior Kroupi will be sold for this summer. Spurs have him at the top of their wish list, but they will have to wait until 2027. Goes on to say that the same stance applies to Alex Scott and Rayan. And like I've said before, they sold Antoine Semenyo. They've got European football, so they're going to need a bigger squad this season. It's going to be very difficult to get players out of Bournemouth, which is why the type of prices for Alex Scott or Eli Junior Kroupi, even if they don't want to sell them, even to have the conversation, you're talking about astronomical money. We also had a report from PSG around the situation with Diamonde. This report said Nasser Al-Khalifi and Oliver Mintzlaff continue talks for Yan Diamonde, with the saga expected to be cleared up in the coming week. They go on to say Paris Saint-Germain are confident that they can seal the deal below the €110 million valuation that they say Leipzig have. The players' image rights dispute between Max Adel and Rock Nation are not expected to jeopardise the deal, although they do have to be resolved. And when they say have to be resolved, that is currently headed for the Court of Arbitration for Sport. So unless a lot of people get handed a lot of money to go away, that one will probably drag on a little bit. But of course, all of this impacts Liverpool's potential pursuit of Bradley Barcola. There was a report today from RMC Sport in France that said that he could be available for 60 million quid. I don't believe that. That seems way lower than PSG have been briefing and way lower than the numbers that have been doing the rounds. Somewhere for me about 80, 85 million pound is probably where you'd have to get to get their interest. But they're also under the gun a little bit because much like us with Alexis Mac Allister, he's in a situation where he's approaching the 2 years to go on his deal now. If they don't extend him or sell him this summer, then they're going to have to take a knockdown price next summer, and that isn't good business. So it'll be interesting to see what does happen. David Ornstein was speaking on the Athletic podcast, and he said he thinks that's a deal that could go late into the window, and that's what makes me nervous. If that goes late into the window and we got him, happy days. If it goes late into the window and we didn't get him, then we're left with egg on our face and a big, big problem to sort out on the right side. So what do we do? Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section, because for me, I wouldn't mind them at Liverpool, but if we missed out, it would be a big one to come back from. And again, the clock is ticking. The lads are already over in the United States now, or very close to landing if they're not over there by the time you watch this. So hoping the preseason goes well. We've run through a list of players who have gone over. The real one that missed out was Jayden Danns. He's staying behind to continue his recovery. Wishing him the very best with that. And again, I want to reiterate all of our condolences and love to the Keegan family after the passing of what I can only describe as a footballing giant in Kevin Keegan today at the age of 75 after a battle with cancer. We talk about legends of the game often. They don't come much bigger with an impact on British and world football than Kevin Keegan. Two-time Ballon d'Or winner, English national team manager, represented Liverpool with distinction, and of course much loved up in Newcastle as well. I know I speak for everybody when we send our love and condolences to Kevin Keegan's family and anybody who has had the pleasure of knowing the man over the years. Absolute devastating news today. Ladies and gents, that's pretty much where we're at. One other interesting bit before I finish up. We ran a poll tonight asking, what should we do with Alexis Mac Allister this summer? In fact, I asked the question, do you think we sell Alexis Mac Allister this summer? And with over 2,500 votes, 61% of people said yes, 25% of people said no, and then the rest were unsure. What do you guys think about it? Again, the price tag, according to reports today that Liverpool have put on Alexis Mac Allister, is £85 million, and it also said that he'd been offered to Madrid by his agents. Well, we'll wait and see what happens with that one, but for now, he very much is a Liverpool player, but the clock is ticking because he also has 2 years to go on his deal, And if we don't agree an extension with him, this is probably the right summer to sell him. So hopefully all of this unfolds in a way that is good enough for us and we get the players that we need in, because I want Andoni Iraola to have the best opportunity to succeed this season. I'm so excited to watch his team progress, and fingers crossed we can get the bodies in that we need. So that is it for now, my friends, but I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Until then, appreciate your time as always. Much love. Take care. Bye-bye.